I am in Austin, Texas. The CRM firm is based in Colorado, but we are fully remote. So we have people all over the country. So it's a woman-owned Salesforce consulting partner, and we do Salesforce implementations and custom solutions for nonprofits and like small to medium-sized businesses. I would say the main word is networking. I had been job searching quite a bit and doing some interviews that, some went better than others. But, the more you do the interviews, the better it gets, the easier it gets, and the better you get at telling your story. So I had also joined the Salesforce user group in Austin called Salesforce ATX. Okay. And I just decided, I'm just going to start saying yes to like every opportunity that comes up. And so Texas Dreamin' was coming up, and it's like a smaller Dreamforce just for Texas, and it was in Austin. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to go to Texas Dreamin', and I've got my little elevator pitch, and I'm going to just put myself out there, which is, I'm an introvert. So it's totally, not my comfort zone at all. But so I went, and I found out there were other Supermums who were going to be there. So I got to meet like my trainer and a couple of other people in person, which was really cool. And so I volunteered to work the check-in desk because I thought if I'm at the check-in desk, I have a defined role and I have to talk to people. So I did that and made a couple connections there, and everyone that I met, everyone I talked to was super encouraging and helpful. It was still nerve-wracking because I still had to walk up to people and be like, "Hi, I'm Melanie Green. I'm looking for a Salesforce role." So it was very awkward. But so the day after the conference, because the conference was on a Thursday and a Friday, and the day after on a Saturday morning, Salesforce ATX, our local group, was having this meetup, and my Supermums instructor was going, and so I thought, okay, I'll go to that. And I'd met a couple of those people on Zoom before, but I'd never met anyone in person. And this was after the pandemic too. So this was like a lot of people's first in-person event. So I went to that, and I got to meet Stephanie Herrera, who's like a Salesforce rock star. She started Salesforce Saturdays. And there I got to meet Esme Macias, who I told her what I was wanting to do and what role I was looking for. And she said, "Oh, I have to introduce you to Sarah Burt. She's the consulting director at the CRM firm." And so I was like, great. So she introduced me to her on LinkedIn, and we chatted a little bit, and she said, "Please email me your resume." And I did. And then just like nothing, I didn't hear anything. So I was a little worried, but I was like, okay, just keep going. So a few weeks later, there was Trailblazer DX career fair, virtual career fair. And this is this career fair that Salesforce puts on for entry to mid-level candidates. And so it's such a great thing because it just puts employers in touch with, people who are trying to get in, and they're not like expecting you to have all this experience. Whereas if you go to a lot of other career fairs, they're like, look at your little bit of experience, and they're not as excited about it. So anyway, I went to that fair, and the CRM firm had a booth at the fair, and I didn't know this ahead of time. But so I signed up for that booth, and Sarah, who I had chatted with on LinkedIn, was there, and she recognized my name. And so we chatted, we set up an interview for the next week, and it turned out that it was nothing to do with me, that as to why she hadn't called me back yet. It was because they were having a company summit, and she was super busy with that. And so it's not always a lot of things are going on with the employers at the same time. So anyway, we had this interview. I had an introductory interview and then a technical assessment, which was a little nerve-wracking, but it was very straightforward stuff that I had learned at Supermums. And I wound up getting hired a few weeks later. And then I found out that they already had an employee who had been through Supermums named Nellie. So I get to create a lot of automations, which I love, and, creating reports, designing page layouts, troubleshooting, meeting with clients, responding to emails, documenting processes. Sometimes I get to do training with clients, requirements gathering, all those things. The most challenging for me right now is probably as a consultant switching between clients all day. There's some days that I get to focus on just, one or two clients and only work on them for the day. But most days I'm switching back and forth between sometimes 4 to 6 clients. So sometimes keeping that all straight in my head is people. That's my favorite thing about my job is the people I work with are just the coolest. And, if I do say so myself, they are just so helpful and generous with their time. And everybody's like a lifelong learner. Everyone, no one is like lording their knowledge over anyone else. Everybody is just learning constantly. I love that. And I like being part of a team versus a solo admin. I think I knew from the beginning I didn't want to be a solo admin. I wanted to work with other people so that we could, bounce things off each other. And also, everyone in my company is very focused on work-life balance. It's very family-friendly. I really like that. Yeah. We're all in the United States, but everyone is, we have somebody in, I think, Seattle to Miami to Michigan, New York, Texas. We have I think 4 people now in the Austin area. So we have gotten to meet up in person a few times. This month, I get to go to my first company summit where everybody's coming together in person. So I took a 15-year career break to raise my children, which is pretty long. It wasn't originally intended to be that long. Just life happened. And I did a lot of volunteering during that time and took on a lot of volunteer leadership roles. But my kids were getting older and I really wanted to do something where I got paid for my skills. So I did a lot of, soul searching and trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do and how can I use the talents and skills that that I've acquired over all this time. So I through my research, I found this organization called iRelaunch, and they help professionals re-enter the workforce after taking a career break and try to, normalize the idea of taking a career break and that it's not a bad thing and that you can learn the skills that you learn during a career break for whatever reason that career break is for. They had a really structured, results-oriented plan that helped me, really think through what I wanted to do and how was I going to get there. During all my volunteer work and my work before that, I had always kind of gravitated towards the technical side of things and excuse me, and like solving problems. I really enjoyed doing that. So in my research, Salesforce just kind of kept popping up. And my husband had actually worked with people who had used Salesforce. He hadn't used it himself, but he'd heard a lot about it too, because so many people use Salesforce now. I listened to this iRelaunch podcast, and one of the episodes they interviewed Katie Koenig, who had relaunched her career with iRelaunch and with Supermums. And so that's where I heard about Supermums. And I thought, I need to look into that. I really liked the structured approach and that it kept me on track and accountable. I'd spent a lot of time, by the time I joined Supermums, I tried to learn Salesforce on my own with Trailhead. And Trailhead's great. There's nothing against Trailhead, but there's a lot to be said for having like the real world case study that Supermums has, and having other people to hold you accountable and have deadlines and things like that. And really the moral support from this cohort of other women, mostly women, was really powerful. And we were able to help each other, especially with like the confidence part of things. I think
right.
especially for people who've been out of the workforce for a while, like, or upskilling in any new career, the
Mm-hmm.
confidence thing is like huge.
Right.
And it's realizing that like we're all kind of in the same boat. So
Mm-hmm.
that was really my favorite thing about it. And there is a lot of information out there about Salesforce and a lot of different ways to approach it. I'd say don't be afraid to ask questions and reach out to people. The Salesforce, Ohana that they call it, is
Mm-hmm.
so generous and friendly. That's one reason that another reason that I really gravitated towards Salesforce, like, wow, these people are all just so nice. I would say definitely like try to find groups that will, where you can, meet other people who have been in the same place that you've been. I would say just don't be afraid to get out there and meet people and join groups and and especially if you've taken a break,
Mm-hmm.
you're a relauncher like I was, just keep in mind that your skills are valuable, that the things you've learned, just really
Mm-hmm.
put some time into thinking about what have I learned? What skills do I have to offer an employer? Even just maturity. If you've been a parent, like the multitasking and all of those skills, like